Good morning, everybody. We're live here from the birdhouse, and migration season continues, and people are getting some really awesome birds in their yard, including some baby birds. So, we're going to give you an update about that. As always, we love to know what kind of things you are seeing in your yard. You can give us your updates in the comments. You can ask any kind of questions you have, or you can just say hi. It's always good to see who is on. So, we will get started here. First of all, we do have some events going on here at the store. If you are local to the area, our birding cruises have started. And although some of them are selling out up through the summer, we do still have some spots left on the cruise for Thursday. And that's Thursday afternoon from 2:30 to 5:30. It'll be our longest one yet. Not only is it going to be a birding cruise, but you can learn more about the Erie Canal. It will be coming out of Fairport, and it looks like the weather is going to be just fine for it too, which was a little spotty there for a while. So our birding cruises have started. You can check those out online. June is sold out. July, I believe now is sold out, or there's 2 spots left. Tickets for August are selling, and we have a September date as well. So if you're interested, make sure to get those tickets because all the smaller cruises are going to sell out at this pace. We also have our first ever bird trivia this Wednesday, which we're super excited about. It's in the evening, 6:30 to 7:30 at the Pittsford Library. So we'll have our first ever bird trivia. I guess they have trivia there once a month, I believe, at the Pittsford Library. And this month we are teaming up with them, and they are making up all the questions. So we have no idea what they're going to be, but it's bird trivia this Wednesday. Can't wait for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we have some prizes to give away. We've got some signed copies of books, including a signed copy of this book, Bird Trivia. We've got some signed copies of Birds of New York and more. So we will be handing out prizes. So definitely stop on by. It's totally free and should be a lot of fun. So that's trivia this Wednesday night. Can't wait for that. And then this Saturday, we will be having a native plant sale with Amanda's Gardens at the store here at the birdhouse. So we've got plenty of things lined up this week and more. So check out our event calendar, which is on our website at thebirdhouseny.com and also on our Facebook page. So we've got all that kind of stuff going on. As far as things I've noticed in my yard, still have a black-pole warbler that is singing, including this morning. I still haven't gotten eyes on him, but now that the weather's cleared up a little bit, it's finally, we had some sunshine yesterday. Maybe I can get my eyes on him today. That black-pole warbler still making his buzzy call. I looked up to see how long they're usually seen in the area, and looks like they are found here through the end of this month, and then they start to taper off, and then by mid-June or so they're kind of off and going further north. So definitely still some reports on warblers in people's yards, including my own. So probably the biggest development, what I've been noticing, are the baby birds are starting to come out. So the 2 that I've seen so far are the baby house sparrows. House sparrows start pretty early. I know some of you guys probably have young bluebirds out too. So if you've got photos of bluebird fledglings, absolutely send them over. But this is a common sight right now in a lot of our backyards, I'm sure. If your yard is anything like mine, are these baby sparrows begging the parents for some food. You'll probably see them hopping on the ground or hopping on a branch, or even coming to the feeders with the parents, and they're flapping their wings and they're begging for food. And that is really common. The parents will feed the birds for a little while they are even out of the nest, and then the young will be kind of out and on their way. Same with robins. So there are some baby robins out there now too. And both of these birds, the house sparrows, robins, bluebirds, they'll all have multiple broods a year. So this is the first round of babies. Heard some reports of baby mourning dove out there too. So now's a fun time to kind of look around and see what kind of babies you can find. And often you will find them hopping around on the ground, which is not uncommon at all. And you definitely want to make sure you give them their space. You don't want to get too close to them. And you also want to make sure that you just let them kind of do their thing. It can be kind of jarring to see a baby bird sitting on the ground, especially if it's waving its wings and it's begging its parents for food or looks like it's begging for food. That is really common, and the parents will keep visiting the baby and keep feeding the baby. So you don't want to grab the baby or anything like that or try to feed it yourself. Let the parents do their thing. 9 times out of 10, that bird is absolutely fine. But if you do see that the bird has any issues with its eyes, or it looks like its wing is injured or something, then it might be time to call a rehabber. But in general, the birds are just fine. They are in that fledgling stage where they are leaving the nest, and they're in that kind of awkward stage of not flying super, super strongly, but they're leaving the nest and they're kind of having their first experience out in the world. So Baltimore Orioles, we've been getting more reports on Baltimore Orioles. I had some briefly early in the spring, and then I hadn't seen any for a couple weeks. Then Sunday morning, I had a bright, bright orange male back at my feeders. So I'm really happy about that. So there's definitely still around, even if you haven't seen a lot of them. Don't be surprised if you start seeing them coming to the jelly more often, and soon you might even start seeing them go to those mealworms once they have their babies in their nests, which will be pretty soon. So if you are looking up in the trees, you might see a nest like this. This is the Baltimore Oriole nest. They weave like a sack that'll just hang from the tree. Usually it's on a branch that's kind of outstretched and it's pretty easy to spot. But they're definitely have been making nests, so it wouldn't surprise me if right now that there are eggs inside of a lot of those nests, and the females are probably incubating them, so you might not be seeing as many females coming to your Baltimore Oriole feeders, but you might be seeing more males as the males are getting some food to bring to the female who's sitting on those eggs. So any kind of Oriole activity you've seen, absolutely let us know. We're curious about what you guys are seeing out there as well. And of course, they love the jelly. We've got birdberry jelly. We've got the bird jelly in the glass jars. And we even have the bird jelly from Sweet Seed in the squeezable pouches. And not only do the Orioles love that, but so do the catbirds. So lots of catbirds out there too, making their little meow call and doing their little mimicking type of call. And shortly, we will definitely be recommending that you put out some live mealworms too to help keep those Orioles coming. But even if you wanted to put those mealworms out now, with all those baby birds that are starting to come out, the birds will definitely eat them. So we've got the live mealworms and the freeze-dried. The birds do prefer the live mealworms, but they will eat the freeze-dried also. And a lot of the small birds, including warblers, we were talking about trying to attract warblers to your backyards. Those and any kind of small songbird that will come to a feeder love sunflower hearts. So that's another good thing that you can put out this time of the year if you don't already. Lots of reports on goldfinches in people's yards, the bright, bright gold males and the not so bright gold, but still yellow females coming to feeders. They love the Niger feeders. So any Niger feeders are a special type of feeder that have the little tiny openings. You can kind of see that in this picture here. Just has a tiny little slit opening instead of having kind of one of those wide portals that the larger seeds can slip through. The Niger seed feeders are quite small. They have small little openings, so you do need a special feeder for the finch food, but the goldfinches absolutely love it. And our bestseller is our finch favorite blend, which is a mix of the Niger seed and the ground up sunflower hearts, and the finches absolutely love that. Another thing you can put out right now is nesting material, and that reminds me, I have to get more today because all of mine is gone. I've gone through 3, or I guess I should say the birds have gone through 3 of these nesting balls in my yard already this early spring. The birds will grab the nesting material and either build their nest out of it or use a little bit of this soft natural cotton to line their nest. So they are grabbing that like crazy right now. And not only do the birds like goldfinches and sparrows and titmice and chickadees go for this nesting material, we also have some nesting material that's even softer called Hummer Helper that's especially made for the hummingbirds. And hummingbirds will go for this really soft natural nesting material to build their nests and line their nests. So we have that as well. And definitely birds are out there grabbing some nesting material for the nest building process. So it's an exciting time of the year. And then, of course, there's water. Water will attract birds like warblers. It will attract birds like the robins. Of course, robins love a nice bird bath with moving water. They'll plop right down in the bird bath and splash away. But any kind of moving water is always good to attract birds in general. And we do have the solar fountain inserts, and we do have the water wigglers also, both which will move the water and keep mosquitoes from being able to develop in the bird bath. So we've got all that. And then as far as your photos that you guys have sent in, Mark sent in some pictures of some grassland birds, which are pretty fun. He sent in this photo or photo series, I guess I should say, of some bobolinks. And bobolinks are a grassland bird. So you'd look for these guys out in nice wide meadows. And it looks like this was perching on something here. So if you've got, if you're driving past any kind of a meadow or grassland and it's got fencing or it's got any kind of wiring, you might see birds like bobolinks perched there on the outskirts of the meadow. But this is the male bobolink. They're a type of blackbird. And I sent in, here's a nice group photo here of 3 males, and the females will build a nest on the ground in these grasslands. So a lot of the grassland birds are becoming more and more rare because that is a habitat that is becoming increasingly rare, especially with all the solar farms popping up now in some of their prime habitat. So this was a cool set of photos here sent in by Mark, and he sent in this video here where you can hear the bobolink making its call. Cool photos and video there. And if you are out looking in wide open meadows and grasslands for birds, keep an eye out for birds like Savannah sparrow. Mark sent in these photos of Savannah sparrow. Beautiful pictures there. You can see almost like the white-throated sparrow. The Savannah sparrow has that yellow in between its eye and bill, but they're going to be in totally different habitat than your white-throated sparrow. So Savannah sparrow are definitely out there. You can find things like kingbird out in those grassland habitats. Of course, bluebirds, if there's any kind of trees or holes or cavities that the bluebirds can nest in, or birdhouses, you might see them out there. Tree swallows, and if you're lucky enough, you might just come across an eastern meadowlark. So fun time of the year to look for those things. And if you're interested in learning more about birds or how do you identify some of these birds, I can't recommend highly enough getting some kind of field guide. So there's a whole bunch of free ones that you can get on your phone, but I don't know, I don't think anything really beats a field guide book that you can flip through. Even if you just look through it here and there, you'd be surprised what kind of gets put into your brain. So having a book like our Birds of New York book, which is our bestseller, it's all organized by color. If you have a book like that and you just kind of flip through it here and there while you're not birding, you'd be surprised what kind of things you're kind of learning by osmosis. I love that book because it's all organized by color. It's a really great book if you're starting out or if you're kind of middle of the road birder. And then, of course, we have the more involved field guides like the Sibley guide, which I like a lot. We've got the Peterson guides. We've got the Kaufman guides, all of those that will have all the birds that you can see in this area. So the Birds of New York book has most of the birds that you'll see. It has some of the more common birds, but it's not going to have every warbler or every shorebird in it like a more thorough field guide like a Sibley's Guide to the East. So if you're looking for an upgrade, we do have the Sibley guides. We've got the Petersons. We've got a whole bunch of different ones, not only of the East, but of all of North America also. And then we also have, we talk about Merlin all the time, which is that app you can use to identify bird calls. If you are trying to learn some on your own, just kind of while the birds are not singing, we do have the identifier lyrics, which are the little handheld devices that come with the different cards, and you can play all the different sounds. We sell a lot of these for people who want to get them for classrooms or for kids, also for kids to start to learn some of the bird songs. but these are really nice too. It's another great way to start learning some of the bird calls if they're not calling right now. And then just going out and looking at the birds. We have a ton of binoculars. We just got a couple new shipments in over the last week. And so just going out and looking to see what's around you, you'll be surprised what kind of things you pick up just by spending some time outdoors. And we've got all the binoculars you could need to try to help you with that, including these Monarch 7s, which are what I have, and I love them. So thank you guys for watching. It looks like there are some comments here. Bob is on. He says, good morning. Found a warbling vireo nest this morning. So fluffy. So it sounds like the warbling vireos, which are calling like crazy right now. If you go out hiking anywhere where there's kind of like an edge habitat, maybe in between some woods in an open area, you'll probably hear the warbling vireo, and looks like Bob came across one of their nests, which was very fluffy. So they've been collecting some nesting material of their own. Steel Monkey is on, says, I'm getting plenty of orioles now, but they're all males, no females. I think these guys got no game. Put out dried mealworms. I just wet them and the birds go crazy for them. Could also be that those females might be sitting on the nests at this time. So could be that some of those birds going crazy for the mealworms are bringing them back to that female. And Bob also says, I have so many orioles and grackles. I do have a live stream on YouTube, and you can see the orioles all day long. I have a public link on my Facebook page that will take you to it. I hope you don't mind, Liz. Nope, not at all. So definitely you can check out Bob's live stream of his yard. He gets a lot of cool stuff in his yard, including indigo buntings all the time, he says. So definitely check out Bob's live stream too. And you can find that, sounds like, on his Facebook page. If you click on Bob's page, if you find his profile, he'll have a link to it on there. Steel Monkey says, I was wondering, Liz, what is your favorite bird and what is your favorite time of year for birding? Oh, good question. It's hard to pick a favorite bird. My favorite bird to attract to my backyard, I have to say, are the orioles. Probably my favorite bird to go out looking for is the Blackburnian warbler, which I've brought up a couple of times that I like that bird as well. But I like birds like the bobolink here that Mark has the photo of. They're really fun to watch. I've got a good spot to go to watch them, and I like that. I like them too. So it's really hard to pinpoint just one. And the favorite time of year to go birding is probably spring, probably around this time of the year, because there's so many different ones coming in. But that being said, there's always interesting things to see any time of the year. But that looks like that's everybody's comments and questions for the day. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back on Saturday with another live stream. And if you are local to the area, definitely come stop by the Bird Trivia Wednesday. I'm excited to see what the questions are. We have no idea what they are. The Pittsford Library is compiling all of those for us. We have our birding cruise on Thursday afternoon, which should be a lot of fun. And then we've got the plant sale here on Saturday. So stop on in. We've got all those events and more planned. And thank you guys for tuning in. And we'll be back on Saturday with another broadcast. So until then, enjoy your week, and we'll talk